first of all, welcome to Sean Bobbitt BSC, and here to talk about this fantastic film, Judas and the Black Messiah. I'm going to give the names of those two fantastic actors as well, Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stansfield. Is it Stansfield?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So, Sean, just say a little about Sean, because I think everybody will probably know much about him. But he's I don't know, we've known each other probably 15, maybe 20 years, 15 years or something, or 20.
More towards the 20, probably, Barry.
More towards the 20, yeah. And yeah, but you know, I mean, what first shone for me was a beautiful film that you did with Michael Winterbottom, which was what, Wonderland? No, was it Wonderland?
Yeah, Wonderland.
Wonderland, yeah. Of course, yeah. And that was so spectacularly done. 16mm film, wasn't it? And it looked really, really beautiful and told a great story. But then I think you're also known. This is what I feel for you. The Place Beyond the Pines with Ryan Gosling. That was a fantastic, and Bradley Cooper in the same film. Not a bad one. And of course, then I think we just then have to mention Steve McQueen and the kind of. I think how many films have you done with Steve? 5.
Hunger, Shame, Widows. That's it, I think.
12 Years a Slave.
12 Years a Slave. I forget about that one. You know, that was just, that was one of our minor works.
All right. Okay. Well, but yes. Okay. I think a few people recognise that film, but that's a good link in a sense, isn't it? Because here we are. Those are the kind of films you've been making that have really been extraordinary films in themselves. But you've just gone ahead and done this other film now, which you actually shot a year and a half ago or something, was it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, a year and a half now.
Yeah. With what sounds like this very wonderful director, Shaka King.
Shaka King, yeah.
How did you first meet him?
Well, originally Bradford Young was gonna shoot the film, because he and Shaka were very good films. They'd gone to film school together. They'd known each other for a long time, and always in Shaka's mind, it was going to be Bradford. But you know, circumstances, the film shifted, things shifted. Bradford's, you know, got busy on something else and had family things to deal with, and basically couldn't make it. So Shaka, you know, contacted my agents, sent me the script. Mm-hmm. And you know, I'd had, you know, never heard of Shaka or anything like that, and I read the script, and I was absolutely shocked and appalled at myself for not knowing the story.
Okay.
And sort of right off the bat, that piqued my interest, mm-hmm. Because it's, you know, a part of American history, a small part, but a part that has recurred throughout American history, that should be known, particularly, you know, within a modern context. And so and very luckily, soon afterwards, I was doing a grade in New York, where Shaka lives, and was able to meet him. Mm-hmm. And we sat down for a cup of tea, and you know, within 5 minutes,
yes,
I was like, okay, you know, this just his passion, and his eloquence, his knowledge of the story, the work he had done on it. You know, it was obviously something that was really important to him. Yeah. But at the same time, he had a wonderful humor and a very sort of self-deprecating honesty.
Okay. I've listened to some of his interviews and things, and that certainly comes across that he's obviously a very, not just a very talented filmmaker, but a very, very nice human being. And as yourself, and I'm sure that meeting would have been quite wonderful, with the two minds coming together, ready to make what is a film I thought would never get made. I knew the story, but I always thought it was beyond the American remit. In a sense.
Well, the amazing thing is that it has been made, and that is purely down to Shaka King. I mean, his political skills are beyond imagination, and he was able to sort of convince the studio that it was a thriller, set in the 1960s, and they kind of went for it, but you know, and it was just sheer willpower as well. He was not going to not get that film made. I mean, the really sad thing is that the only people who even offered them an opportunity, there was only one studio, and that was Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So you know, we're grateful to Warner Brothers for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like I say, an unlikely place for it to come from in a way, but
yeah.
But you know, there's the film, and now it's Oscar nominated, so it's a winner, and I think that's also to do with the times we're in. I think we come to that a bit later,
Yeah.
but I thought, as we're all cinematographers and we want to get to know how you do this as well. I mean, your work's been equated to Caravaggio, so yes, I heard it. I heard it.
Yeah, maybe in a pub one night after an awful lot of pints of beer.
But anyway, that's what happens when you do research, you see.
I think it's more like Velasquez myself, but okay. No, I'm willing to argue.
But you do have some beautiful images you make, and beautifully, and I'm sure we all wonder how, you know, what's your technique, what's your method of doing that, what lenses do you like, what all that kind of stuff. We should get that on the record now, I think.
Well, you know, the whole technical side of it is to me, it's important that that's informed by the story itself, and primarily how the story is interpreted by the director. You know, I think my role is to come in and take the director's views and desires and ideas and make them real on the screen. And if they don't have any views or ideas or anything, then it's my job to come up with them.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's why when meeting someone like Shaka, it's such a relief, because he had ideas, and very powerful ideas that have been thought out over a very long period of time. So it was just a matter of being able to spend time with him and get those ideas out. Because for me, the look of the film, everything about the film, it has to come from within the story itself.
Yeah.
So that you're not trying to impose things on the film. You're trying to reveal things in the film.
To capture them.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's, you know, so it's the pre-production process is really important to me.
Okay.
And it's something that I really enjoy. And part of that process is, you know, spending as much time with the director as possible, which sadly is not always that possible, because we're kind of the last person on, and the director's schedule is already fully booked up to the day of the film.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of battling to find an hour here or an hour there, or give up your weekends to find the time. But it's so crucial to do so. And then, you know, to try and synthesize all those ideas that are coming out of the director. And I love the whole recce's. And when we're recceing, I take a lot of stills photographs on each location. And I go back and I sort through them. I put them in the correct aspect ratio, and then I grade them in Lightroom. So that when I come to talk with the director about the specific scenes that are in that location, we have a physical reference to the geography of, and the layout, so we can start to talk in real terms about what might happen. And also we can, at the same time, I show him the grades. So he's starting to get a sense of about what I'm thinking about color, and saying, yeah, I like this, I don't like that, or, you know, and so we're able to, you know, start moving that process forward as well.
Great.
And also at that time, you know, it's meeting up with the other heads of departments, seeing what they're doing, and seeing, you know, particularly the production designer, you know, that palette that's what we work with.
But you're working with their palette, but you're bringing your own, your own thoughts, your own.
Well, it sometimes it informs. Well, it always informs primarily about the color of the light.
Yeah.
You know, I think you should, you know, through the discussions with the director and what you've read in the script itself, you should have a good idea about what the meaning of the scene is and what the emotion of the scene is. and have a sense of how you might be able to augment that through the lighting.
Yeah.
But until you actually see what the art department are doing, and particularly how they're using practicals, where they're putting practicals, what type of practicals they are,
Yeah.
and also then, talking to them about adding or subtracting practicals,
Yeah.
so that you can use those as specific sources of light within the scene as well, or in relation to what you think is going to happen. So it's spending a lot of time talking to makeup as well is so important.
Mm-hmm.
To understand what's going on in the faces themselves.
Yeah.
Because some things are not going to take the light.
Yeah.
In the way you might want.
Yeah.
So you have to be aware of that.
I noticed that Daniel Kaluuya, his look had a shine to it.
Yeah.
And is that something you would have perhaps said? He's very dark skinned. I mean, every tone of a skin tone in the in the range is in there, and but Daniel is very dark.
Well, that was actually Sian Richards, the makeup and hair costume, hair designer, and that was her concern, that he gets lost.
Mm-hmm.
And so we played around for the first week about how much shine there should be. But there's no doubt that it really helps to show his features.
Okay.
But in association with that, I almost always now shoot with the polarizing filter on, if I can get enough stop.
Yeah.
And that way, because as you change your angle, and as the actor changes angle and things like that, the reflections and the refractions are all going to change as well. Yeah. So at least I can control them with the polarizer, and either amp them down or lift them up. Yeah. Depending on what's necessary.
Well, let's just talk quickly about lenses while we're talking about line lenses, filters. Well, what are you, just to, let's not spend all night on it, but what is it which lenses would you choose, and what camera did you shoot this film on?
Well, I try and make sure that the camera and the lens are the right ones to tell the story. Mm-hmm. And given, just as you were saying, this incredible range of flesh tones, from the very dark to the very, very white. I was looking for something that had a very good latitude. Yeah. And had worked with the Alexa LF before, and had been absolutely knocked out at how well it grades, and how, just where you can go with it. Yeah. Because it's got, the extra chips and everything else. There's just so much more information. Yeah. And you also get the most wonderful gradation of shadow. Mm-hmm. It's like an old black and white stills photograph. Yeah. If you set it up right, and it's absolutely beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I combine that with the Array DNA LF lenses. Okay. Which I think that, they make me laugh. Right off the bat, that there's this wonderful chap upstairs in Array ripping apart old lenses and taking out the elements, and using his secret sauce to hand make these beautiful lenses, and they're all original and they're all funky. And for a period piece like this, we wanted it to have a very subtle period feel. And by using those lenses, they have elements of the anamorphic in them, of the old school anamorphics. So you've got a fast spherical lens, which also has that lovely drop off around the edges on a lot of them. It has funky focus bits going on through the frame, and they just look unusual. And I thought that is the ideal thing to use, so that the audience, subconsciously, they don't know it, they don't see it. But hopefully subconsciously it's saying to them, oh, this is from the past. Just a way of trying to tie that world together into a really coherent, just a coherent place where the audience is stuck, hopefully happily. But there's nothing there that knocks them out of it. So
I'm going to ask you another technical kind of thing. Do you storyboarding? I mean, was this a storyboarded film, or do you prefer that, or would you? Whatever.
Whatever the director wants to do. Yeah. I don't often feel the need for storyboards, except when we're doing stunts, and big crowd sequence things.
Mhm.
I mean, we had two of the key scenes in the film. One is when Fred Hampton returns from prison and walks into the church and gives a stirring speech. You know, there's a lot of storytelling that happens in that scene. And it's a big scene with a big crowd, and we had one day to shoot it in. So, you know, you have to storyboard something like that. Otherwise, you're not going to make your day.
Yeah.
And then the shootouts, we storyboarded as well. And that becomes a thing of just safety, so that everyone knows what's going on, everyone knows what's expected, you know, everyone can stay in the right places and do the right things.
Yeah.
And again, that was on a major street in Cleveland,
Yeah.
which they were very reluctant to close for us.
Yeah.
So we didn't even have a full day on that.
Wow.
So, you know, that's where, you know, storyboards are very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
But generally, you know, I look upon storyboards as a basic guide.
Yeah.
You know, and the same way, you know, I talk about all this prep I do, and all these things I get ready, and all the pre-lights for every set, and blah 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 blah. On the day, you know, I'm absolutely prepared to throw it all away.
Great.
If the actors come in and do something amazing, then you have to accommodate that.
To respond to that. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, because those are the moments I live for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what makes a film special.
Yeah.
It's where something unexpected happens, where something just bizarre or you know, are so subtle that you could never conceive of it yourself. And that's why I have such immense respect for actors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you know,
So and you've done the crew, you've done Cleveland, obviously was a great bonus to you as a city. It's
sadly
stuck in time a little bit more than some American cities maybe. Gave
well,
you the right period, or
it was remarkable.
yeah.
You know how much of it resembled the photographs. I mean, when I first met Shaka, he had 300 stills in his laptop that we looked at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And looking at those photographs, and then going to Cleveland.
Yeah.
And looking at Cleveland, it was like, you know, bloody hell. In
Yeah.
fact, the street where the Black Panthers headquarters was abandoned in 1969 after the riots there.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had just left it.
Yeah.
So it was.
Yeah, and
You know,
I
it
had
was
a similar experience a bit in Detroit, and
I can imagine
the
it.
film Detroit. But then we
Yeah.
ended up shooting in Boston, and then finding parts of Boston that were good matches. You know. So it is part. You were meant to be in Chicago, weren't you? I think.
Yeah, we were meant to be in Chicago.
The story is in Chicago,
Yeah.
and it's an amazing story. It's you know, it's a very political film. It's you know, it's a film about a very radical period of American history of Black power or people power, as Fred, what's the character's name again? Fred. Yeah, yeah. So he, you know, absolutely, you know, and it tells a lot of stories about, you know, they unite a lot of people, don't they? They bring a lot of people on board with them. They're, you know, and it was almost like that was the catalyst that.
Well, that's all
the biggest enemy to the state, and obviously those. I mean, I hope people who watch the film, you know, Lakeith Stansfield's character, how he is forced to infiltrate them, and makes a brilliant thriller. And I can see how he could have sold this to Warner Brothers, but again, you have to bring those. That storytelling is visual as well, isn't it? How you bring them into each other's worlds and how you portray each side of the character.
Yeah. Well, and we were, I mean, aided so dramatically by the script itself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was very well written. It was you know, the scenes were all very tight, and they had very specific reasons for being in the film. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it was easy to pick out the moments and the beats that really mattered. And, you know, Shaka and myself spent a lot of time, usually on the weekends, going through as much of the film as we could. And I said it was the most enjoyable part of the film for me in many ways, because we got really good Chinese food as we did it. But also, it's just that backwards and forwards between the two of us in a scene.
Yeah.
And just kind of trying to surprise each other almost with ideas about how to tell that story.
Yeah.
And it was so gratifying because, you know, my instinct is always trying, and also based upon the films we had looked at and the things we discussed, we were always looking for that one solid frame tells the story. And you know, I'm always keen on that. I always think for every scene there's one place for the camera to be.
Yeah.
That will see it all, and the actors then just do those things within that frame.
Yeah.
And Shaka felt exactly the same. Yeah. And so, you know, there was that great sort of kind of, well, I wouldn't say a meeting of minds, but it was very exciting. It was very energetic, and we got all this stuff done, and we'd write it all down, and then we'd both promptly lose it and sort of panic and then on the day just do what we're going to do, you know, anyway. But
that informs you, doesn't it? I mean, just even if you've lost the piece of paper, if you've forgotten the you know, the memory of it, even it's informed you. And watching, you mentioned watching other films. It's a crucial thing to do, isn't it? Is to be, and not just films that might necessarily be directly related to what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, and it was interesting because some of the films we watched. We watch them for what not to do, which is equally informative.
Yeah, yes,
and interesting.
Yeah.
But you know, in the end, based upon the films we watched, it was coming back to this sort of concept of, you know, the American thrillers of the time, of that era, were just starting to be influenced by the French New Wave.
Yes.
So this concept of the auteur director was kind of coming in, and you were seeing it in really, really interesting ways in American cinema, in genres that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
And the thriller being one of them.
Yeah, Haskell Wexler's film, you know, Medium Cool. That's of that period, 68, 69, isn't it? Very much influenced by them. Yeah. And from Chicago too. So that's interesting. I wanted to know if you this film was finished before the Black Lives Matter incident, George Floyd's murder, and but it's very timely. It's almost like it was ready to be made, this film. And what do you say?
Well, like you say, people have been trying to make it for a very long time, and you know, I think it's very fortuitous that it was made when it was made, but whenever it was made, it was going to be relevant. I mean, sadly.
Of course, yeah.
And I mean, one thing, the reason it was made, and again, this is Shaka King, and Ryan Coogler is one of the producers, they managed to get Fred Hampton's family on board. So Fred Hampton Jr. and you know, Deborah, she was then, were part of our production. They were on the set a lot of the time. Fred Hampton Jr. was, and you know, it was priceless in terms of reference, and that, you know, spurred everyone on, you know, to try and make this film as right as we could, you know, and with due respect for, you know, the memory and legacy of Fred Hampton, and also for Mark Clark, who was also killed. So, you know, that was something that, you know, but you know, as we said, Cleveland, it has no film industry, it has nothing there. So we were pulling crew in from all over America, and everyone who came to work on this film came because they wanted to work on this film.
So that was a benefit in a sense, in that you brought people who'd already summed up the concept and
and so we could do things like shoot these mad important scenes in one day. Everyone was motivated every single day. You know, that's a unique and wonderful thing. And you know, I personally, I'm incredibly grateful to my crew. Because they worked so hard. They supported me. They supported Shaka, and they were they're the backbone of any production.
Were they familiar to you? I did work with focus pullers and gaffer and whatever.
The gaffer I knew, Jeremy Long out of Chicago, had actually worked on 12 Years a Slave.
Okay.
And Mackie Roberts I had worked with years before in Atlanta, Georgia. He was the key grip, and Kelly Borsey, the dolly grip.
Yeah.
But the focus puller, Greg Williams and his assistant Rochelle, I hadn't met. They'd been highly recommended to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it turned out that they're truly beautiful people.
Mm-hmm.
And also Marcy Skoll, who was second camera and Steadicam.
Yeah.
I couldn't have asked for a better, more motivated, and just attentive crew.
And I'm sure talented too. With
oh yeah,
with,
I mean, look,
with skills that
yeah. Greg Williams. You look the LF camera. You're shooting 2.2 on the ARRI DNA LF lens, nighttime, exterior, 50 mil, with absolutely no depth of field, no focus at all. I mean, we're talking millimeters. And you look at that film, there's not a soft shot in it.
Yeah.
It's a really remarkable feat. And he does it with such quiet calmness.
Yeah.
It's like a Zen focus pulling. And it's exactly what you want behind you.
Yeah. Well, I've got to say I've witnessed the same thing, and all around the world, I've got to say, but in America too, it is people love the art form, that they love cinema, very well informed and very cineasts. Mostly, I would say it was cineasts who were finding their way to do what they would love,
do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But I've worked on films that had the opposite though.
No,
people were just there to get the healthcare.
Yeah. Well,
it was like, whoa, how bizarre is this? What a twisted concept.
Yeah.
I'm just here so that my young son can get his tooth capped. It's just surreal.
Well, it's not. Well, that's America, isn't it? We're kind of privileged to be in this. I know you're an American. I'm not trying, it's been a funny year for America. They've had to put up with a lot of films, which good films, which are critical. This being one of them. Nomadland being another. Films that are looking at the DNA of America being examined again, and that I find that good, and I wish we had a bit more of it going on here in this country, because in one, I think you agree with me. We know that our industry is servicing a lot of America, and our studios are full, and it's great, everybody's working, and it's hard to find equipment, but it's but the truth of the matter is we're really truly great independent British films with a budget too, I think. And if America can do it, then we can do it, I think.
Well, this is the thing. I've been working in America almost exclusively for years now. And whenever I can make an English film, I really am happy to do it. I want to make films here. I live here. I love this country. And all of my friends, all of my crew, everyone is here. And it just someone needs to come up with a financial model. The one that of the past, where you would go into European co-production and borrow money from the bank and then rip off some high rollers and throw it all together with a big insurance deal. And at least we were able to make films. And now there is no possibility. Every film I've made in this country for the last decade has been with primarily American money. And they've been quintessentially English films. And
well, British, probably not
British. Sorry. Yes. But I'm an American. What do I know?
Well, I think that's very true, and we do need, what you're saying is a model of British filmmaking. We can see, BAFTA and BFI can say there's been a bumper year of 4.8 billion. I've just made that figure up, but of dollars going through the British film industry. It doesn't seem to reflect. It is not reflecting our cultures as much as I would have liked to see. I mean, in fact, our TV is doing brilliant things, and I mean, would you think of taking on a TV, a series, like?
It's always about the script.
Yeah.
I never say no until I've read the script.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But you've mostly worked on one-off single drama.
Yeah, I did in the early days. I did a couple of episodes of Spooks and
Right. Yeah.
things like that, as we all do.
Yeah.
But usually it was a 3-part series or something like that for most of the television I did. Well, but something like The Long Firm.
Yeah.
If someone came and gave me that script again,
Yeah.
I mean that was one of the best scripts I've ever read, still to this day.
Yeah.
And was such fun to make. I mean, an amazing cast and great story and just everything about it. And again, a great director, Billy Eltringham.
It's all here, isn't it? I mean, everything's here, ready to take off and make films that talk to our people. I mean, Michaela Coles and those kind of things. The people who've got their finger on the button and know what's going on in the world, in our world. It would be great to get more of that.
I was quite shocked. Small Axe, Steve McQueen series. It was, it's kind of disappeared without trace. People should still be talking about that. That should be there in the award ceremonies. There was a lot there and a lot of important stuff. And it was just kind of,
no, it was wonderful.
Got no traction.
You're gonna have to ask. I'm gonna have to ask you why you didn't do that film, because I'm sure.
To be absolutely honest, I'd sworn to Steve years ago that I would never work for the BBC again. And but also there was a part of me that felt, this is a quintessentially, and it's a very personal Steve story. That it should have been shot, and luckily was shot by a young Afro-Caribbean cinematographer. And I looked all over England and couldn't find anyone, and found Xavier Kirshner, who was living in the States, but he lives in Antigua. And he was just exactly the right person for the job. I mean, the right sentiments, at the right point in his career as well. He was waiting for someone to give him a break. And for me and Steve to be able to do that for someone,
that's good.
That's important.
And it's good, and it's also the role of the BSC as well. I think, as we have to be able to find and promote and and bring new talent into the BSC. It's from all sections of our society, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would love to have shot that film.
Well, I know.
There always is, but
how do you find them is the thing. I was looking at a lot of YouTube stuff and trying to look in peripheral areas where people might be learning their art, but have not been given a break. Because and the short film scene. And there was just very.
Of course, since he was making that film, which is probably a couple of years ago now. I think we have Sporos, and we have other ways of promoting talent, and we should be looking around and finding that.
And I think a big part of it is based all the way back into the educational system. The people need to know that this is a possibility for a career. Before they can have the ambition. To actually go for it.
That brings us neatly to at least one of the questions. It's often a question on these things. Is what would you tell people now about how to get into this film industry? What's your views on how are we going to move ahead from this point onwards?
Well, I think the important thing is if you want to be a cinematographer, then you have to be a cinematographer. A lot of people think they can get into the industry by working in the art department or being working as a as a grip or in the lighting department or something like that. That's not going to work. You're not going to transition over, and if you do transition, it's going to take decades. The thing to do is to shoot. Get a camera, any camera, no matter what it is, and shoot. And look at the material, be very critical of it. If you can, edit the material so that you begin to develop those really basic photographic skills.
And color grade your films.
And color grade, you know, all the basics of photography you need to know. And once you have those, then you can forget them and then start to work on, you know, interpretation of story, lighting, all the other elements that are involved in becoming a cinematographer. But you can only do that if you're shooting. And, you know, sadly with the pandemic, the short film industry has kind of come to an end, but that is the key place these days. You get one good script with a good director and bang, suddenly you're noticed. That's now the fast track. So, but, you know,
I always feel that it is, you've got to, it's not the motion forward. I hope like people who might be listening thinking, how do I get from, you know, you might not be in the heart of London, you might not be, or a city at all, you might be way out in the countryside somewhere. But if you can link people together somehow with directors and actors and you know, because there are people all over the country who want to do all these things. There are people who want to be grips, want to be in the art department, they want to design, they want, you know, they want to do makeup and costume. It's a wonderful industry for that very diversity of talents that are needed. And, you know, I just feel that if we could get people to come together through networks, you know, through support. And I know BFI and BAFTA do lots of good work in this field, but you know, sometimes you just got to make it yourself. Call around, check out Instagrams and move forward.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You have to be proactive and kind of make your own way, and also not be disappointed if you're not shooting a feature film in a year. You know, I had my first paying job as a cameraman when I was 19. I made my first feature film when I was 39.
Okay.
Now, during that period, I wasn't sitting at home going, "Oh, I really want to be a cinematographer." You know, in fact, I didn't want to be a cinematographer at all. But I was out with the camera and I was shooting. You know, I did news and then documentaries, and you know, so I had built a skill base over all that time, and also met people. And you know, I kind of madly, and I'm, you know, so many people know the story. I've told it so often. At the time, I didn't want to be a cinematographer. I wanted to be a writer director. For all those 20 years that I was doing news and documentaries, it was like, wow, this is all great stuff. You know, one day I'm going to write the great novel or the great TV series or the great movie based on all these amazing experiences. And it wasn't till I went on a cinematography seminar with Billy Williams in Rockport, Maine. That I mean, Billy in a week changed my life forever. At the end of that week, it was like, bloody hell. First off, I'm actually doing what I should be doing. I am a cameraman. And secondly, I want to make feature films now. And that was it. And it took me 4 years to get even close to a feature film. And the disappointment of it. I mean, imagine, you know, I was about to give up when I was turned down by the bill. They wouldn't even let me be B camera. You know, it was like, this is the end. And then Michael Winterbottom, out of the blue, looking for a documentary cameraman. 2 people recommended me to him. He gave me the job. That's it.
But you did a great job on it. You know, it's one of the films that sticks in my mind very much. So
well, but it was the perfect film for me to do. Because it was only asking me to use the skills that I already had. So it was remarkable. I thought I was ready. I mean, I just like,
I'm ready.
I was so unready at the end of the day. But it was just a great introduction.
You're going to say you never stop learning, do you? You know, as a cinematographer, you know, you're always surprising yourself and always trying to find something, find the new thing that you can do as well.
Always, you know, there is no one set way to make a film. There's no one set way to tell a story. And it's always finding another way, finding a tool that you can use that can help you in some visual way push the story forward. A toy for the sake of a toy is of no value at all.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can use it, like these, the DNA LF lenses,
Mm-hmm.
they were exactly the right tool
Mm-hmm.
for this film.
Mm-hmm.
And they took some of the work away in terms of creating that period feel.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Yeah. Did you have just go back to the film again for a moment? Is there a scene in that film that you would say, or even a frame, if one of your major frames for the scene? Was there a place in that film that you felt like you were close to Nirvana? You were you'd almost got it.
I wish that would happen one day, but it never will. And kind of actually, I wish it never does happen.
Yeah.
Because one of the things is, and my partner Fiona, it drives her crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'm never happy with a film. When I see the film, all I see are the opportunities that I missed.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult for me to watch a film for at least 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I understand.
And then after that, I've forgotten anyway everything that happened. It's like, oh, this isn't a bad film, is it?
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, we shot it. And it's like, oh, oh God, yeah.
So,
but no,
I'm sure, Sean.
but being critical the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, not to the point where you're beating yourself up, but where you're always questioning and searching and thinking, how can this be better? Mm-hmm. Particularly when you finish the film and you look back at it and you think, okay, well, where was I successful there? Where was I not successful? Because we talk about lenses and we talk about cameras and all the technical stuff, but a big part of being a DOP is also people. You're there, you have a crew, and you have to look after these people. You have to inspire them, and you have to, get them to do everything for you.
Yeah,
and that sort of leadership is so crucial, and it's so rarely talked about. Yeah. And it's a really simple things like treating your crew with respect. When I walk on the set in the morning, I say good morning to everyone and shake their hands.
Yeah.
And at the end of the evening, when we're done,
not with COVID, you don't.
Not with COVID, no. No, it'll be
That's
why I haven't been shooting, because I can't shake people's hands. But at the end of the day, to shake their hand and say thank you.
Yeah.
It's a really simple thing. And I'd in America on the place beyond the pines, at the end of the film, one of the grips, an old chap who's on the final day, I shook his hand and said thank you, and he burst into tears.
Yeah.
And he said, no one has ever done this before.
Yeah.
I thought, God, what, it's just, how can you not be grateful to the people who are making the film for you?
Yeah. It's a commitment. I mean, anyone who's watching this who wants to be in the film industry, wants to be a cinematographer, or it is a commitment. It's our families have to put up with it. There's benefits and there's downsides to it, but it is a commitment, and we have to thank all those people who facilitate us having the pleasure to be cinematographers. And I think you have to.
I think we're remarkably privileged in the job we have, the places we get to go, the things we get to do. Mm-hmm. And quite often a very misguided respect that people give us. Yeah. And so, it's something to be very grateful of and for. Now, week 6 of a 12-week shoot, if you ask me about that, I might say something else.
Yes.
Because
you're totally exhausted. You've given everything. Yeah. You're still going to come back.
And you still know that you're only halfway through.
Yeah.
And, a good moan, cinematographers are some of the best moaners in the world, I think. and crews, they learn from our example.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, it's all true. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there might be a couple of questions which I'll just quickly look just to. There's one here that says, "Do you operate a camera?"
Yes, I do.
Is that one camera, or do you have more than one camera on the shoot?
No, this was single camera for 95% of the time.
Yeah.
And I do operate, and I will operate up till the day I can't stand upright.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
you know, I find it, first off, it's fun. And secondly, if I'm not on the camera, then I'm completely disengaged. If I don't have my eye to that specific frame
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sitting back on a monitor, my attention span is about
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
And you know, I just can't do it that way.
Yeah.
I have to be there operating.
You never made the director part. You made the writer. Because I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. You have to be. You have to be. You have to be translating every moment of the picture when you're behind the camera, and that's the only way to do it from the eyepiece to your eye.
Absolutely. And it was funny because when even when I first started doing feature films and TV dramas and things, I was still thinking, oh, I'm still going to direct.
Yeah.
And then about 10 years in, it was like, you know what? You should probably stop saying that because you're not going to direct. I mean, who needs that grief? Here you are, you get all the fun, an incredible amount of creative latitude. And you don't have to, carry all the burden of political rubbish that a director has to deal with on a minute by minute basis. So
I found another question here now for you, and it's about we skipped over lighting. I was trying to do that. We should really talk just one last thing, which is that do you have a favorite, like a style, a method, a lens, a light, like you have a lens? Is that light that you bring in to do that special thing?
No. I don't have any special things. I mean, the polarizer, there's something Billy Williams taught at that Cinematographer seminar all those years ago, which I'd forgotten about for about 20 years, and then suddenly remembered it one day and started using it. But every film is different. Every film you should approach uniquely. And like I said before, from that film, from the story itself, and from the discussion with the directors, it should start to inform you about what you should be doing. And if you're trying to fit one particular type of lamp into something that isn't relevant to what you're doing, then you're battling yourself. So no, it's the same lenses. For many years I used a set of Cooke S4s. And I love the Cooke S4s, and I still love the Cooke S4s, and I will go back to them on the correct projects. But the reason that I loved them was that in those days there wasn't this incredible choice of different types of lenses that we have now. And these days as well, I feel because of the digital cameras, they're all the same thing. There's a lot of CMOS chip in there with slightly different processing. So it's very easy for everything to look the same. And what differentiates it now is much more the lens. When I was shooting more film, before Fuji disappeared, you had these choices of stocks and these amazing things and they all did different things. And so the film stock was equally as important as the lens itself. But people, I think, particularly students and young cinematographers, get caught up with the technology. And they think that this camera is going to make them a better cameraman or something like that. And it's simply not true. What makes you a better person is by improving your skills. And that's it. Nothing else is going to make you a great cameraman.
When you're talking about it might not be the cameras, might not know, but I'm going to give a plug now because Ari Rental and Movie Tech I should have said this right up front, but Ari Rental and Movie Tech are both supporting us here tonight. And you could, my praise for these wonderful British, the ones we know, who provide us with cameras and equipment and technology, and as you said, building pieces for you, finding that old bit of lens or a piece of equipment that you kind of will solve your problems. I mean, we have to just full of praise for that. And
absolutely, the support. I've always been an Arri man, because they supported me from day one.
Yeah.
And you have to respect that.
Yeah.
And also they just happen to make really good cameras and lenses and everything else. So it's kind of it's sort of a no-brainer. But and that's another thing. As a young cinematographer, you should be developing a relationship with these people, because they are of such immense value to you.
Yeah.
And if they see something in you, then they will help you.
I would say they've encouraged people to be the cinematographers they are, because they are that good at supporting, finding the piece of equipment, often lending you the equipment, giving it to you for a few days, facilitating a short film to get made that might not have reached that level. So it's not just cinematographers, it's filmmakers in general. And
they are
praise them for that. Yeah,
they are the backbone of cinematography.
Yeah.
And should be treated with the respect they deserve.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You can tell I'm looking for some extra gear on my next film.
Yeah. Right. I've got a little project. I just and we've done the advice for filmmakers. I think that's always going to be a question. I wish there was a silver bullet. Is that what you say? When that would get you there? I don't know what it is. It's just working hard and dedication to what you believe is your thing, isn't it?
And not giving up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I'm actually just casually looking through these questions here. What is it? I think we've been through a lot of this. It's a lot of questions about how do you get to that period film look and things like that in a film.
Yeah. The one thing that I didn't mention is that the basis of the look was actually those stills photographs that Shock King showed me on day one.
Yeah.
And particularly the color ones.
Yeah.
Because that sort of ectochrome, Kodachrome.
Yeah.
With the thick blacks and the poppy colors.
Yeah.
That slightly faded over time.
Yeah.
Was exactly the road that we went down, was the basis.
Yeah.
Of the whole overall look and feel.
Did you add grain to the film? Did you go to that level of saying this is in the color grade to say I want to get the grain level of a 400 ASA black and white film and I want to put that on top of this?
It wasn't quite as didactic as that.
No.
I mean, we added a very subtle grain.
Yeah.
Through it. What's interesting with the Alexa LF at night, if you rate it at 1250 ASA, the noise that appears looks like grain.
It's like grain, yeah.
And it's really pleasing.
Yeah.
So it was that sort of level of grain that was very subtly laid in. I mean, which comes to another really good point, and something that all cinematographers should be aware of, and that's the DI, the grade, and developing a relationship with a colorist.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been very fortunate. I worked with Tom Poole of Company 3 in New York, and Tom brings so much to every film that I've ever worked with him on.
Yeah.
We early in the production, he was looking at our dailies coming through and getting a sense of what we were on, what we were trying to do, and just talking to him and explaining what we wanted. In the background, whilst we were filming, he was creating very specific LUTs and a look, so that by the time we came to the grade, he had already balanced it with the basic LUT.
Yeah.
And myself and Shaka could just sit there and as we did, we just like, bloody hell.
I've got to say, it's very much how I work too. You present as much of the story as of the technique you can, without that interfering in making the film. I think sometimes you can overdo things, and then trust these people that I work with. You work serially, but with several people. It's not like one colorist does does all the work. It's with other people, but I like to go back to the same people and use them again and again, because they bring that knowledge with them as well.
Well, that's it. They bring an understanding, you know, and Tom's background, he was, you know, in his youth, he was a telecine operator.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then rushes, and he knows film, and he understands, and he loves film.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we wanted a filmic look
Yeah.
to this as part of that period look.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he's got all the tools to do that. So
Yeah.
it's important to, you know, and also the trick that I learned a long time ago is that the better you can make your rushes, the less shit you're going to have to deal with every weekend.
Yes.
So you know, it's really important that you have very strong guides for the dailies colorist.
Yeah, that's right.
To avoid, you know, those dreadful early morning phone calls of, oh, we've got a problem, and also you avoid that temporary love, what we call temp love, where a director has been sitting watching this awful shot for 6 to 8 months, and over time it's like Stockholm syndrome. They start to love it.
Yes.
And then when you come to the grading, you change it. They were like, no, but it was perfect. And it's like, no, it wasn't. You know, it was awful.
Yeah.
So, you know, you want to anticipate that and try and avoid it.
Was there much visual effects on this film? And did you, being a period film, I presume you had visual effects?
You know, we worked with a great VFX supervisor, Jeremy Newmark. And he's one of those great chaps who whatever you want,
we can do it.
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah.
But he had a sensitivity to the film as well.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the VFX stuff is incredibly subtle, and you wouldn't even notice it.
I would say
it's subliminal.
Yeah.
Because, you know, having shot in Chicago myself, there are visual elements of Chicago that are recurring throughout the city. And one is you have these big boulevards, and they all lead straight to the city center.
Yeah.
So wherever you are in Chicago, you look down the road and you see the skyline. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, in Cleveland, they had the big boulevards, but they had no skyline, or the wrong skyline. Yeah. So, you know, he would very subtly, and it's only like 4 or 5 shots in the whole film, put in these little skylines. And it's magical.
Yeah. I never thought it was visual effects. I just recognized the fact that you had this huge cityscape in the background, and it was it's nice. Yeah.
But, you know, also, I mean, the final scene, the assassination of Fred Hampton and Mark Clark. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of VFX in there.
Yeah, sure.
And that was the single most complicated and expensive scene we did, because to get the shot over the top of the rooms. Yeah. Which was really important to Shaka. You needed to see that the police are shooting through the walls, and that they're shooting where they know Fred Hampton is sleeping. Yeah. Irregardless of who or what is in the way. Yeah. And to get that, you know, Shaka said, can we go from one room to the other? So you physically see the bullets and the effects of it going through the walls and hitting people. Yeah. And to do that, we needed a motion control arm, you know, a retractable motion control. Mm-hmm. So we kind of, you know, had to build this thing into the set. Yeah. And of course, the set was in a warehouse with a low ceiling. Yes. And the problems of lighting associated with that were astounding. Yeah. So it, you know, that took a lot of effort, but because we had a move that we could replicate exactly, we did a number of passes. So there was one for performance. Yeah. There was one performance with blood. Yeah. Then there was one where all the actors were taken out, and it was just pyrotechnics. Yeah. Okay. Because we couldn't have the actors that close to that many squibs going off. It just wasn't safe.
No, it was a very small space. It was very small.
But the end result is something that's truly harrowing and truly believable. Yeah. And you know, really drives home the, you know, because Shaka had 2 goals, 2 very specific goals for that scene. First was to be respectful to Mark Clark and to Fred Hampton and to Deborah and to the others that survived. to be as accurate as we could in replicating what happened that night.
Yeah.
And the other was to show the true horror of being asleep and being awoken by random gunfire coming from you don't even know where.
Yeah.
And it's unrelenting. It was like 2 minutes, 99 rounds fired.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's an astounding.
Yeah.
You know, it's just almost inconceivable.
Yeah, and of course nobody found guilty of any
No, and the court case went on for I think 18 years.
Yeah.
It's one of the longest court cases in American history.
Yeah.
You know, a shocking state of affair, the lies that were told.
Which makes it, that's why it's an important film. It's you know, I think this year has been a few very good. I love the film Mauritania. I'm not the Mauritanian. It's you know, that starts off by saying this is a true story, and I know your film starts with based on true, truths, but which. And I understand why. There's all kinds of legal things that have to be dealt with. But like I said at the beginning, Americans had a little bit of a cinematic pounding, you know, well, an awakening, not so much, a reckoning.
I think it's a timely reckoning as well. And you know, I think it's great that these films are being made. Hopefully it will open people's minds and open their mouths and start talking about things.
And we need some writers to get writing our stories, and we'll expose some of these things as well.
Well, you know,
maybe one day.
One day, we always live in hope. You know?
So I think, you know, we've done an hour. We've done have you got any more you wanted to add to say? You know, is there anything?
Well, actually, I do. I want to thank you personally. In the early part of my career, you were sort of my god. I wanted to be Barry Ackroyd. And you so kindly helped me as well. I mean, getting me just a couple of days on flight 93. But in Voici que voudrais, I mean, to put me into, you know, a feature film in France, in French, not on the south of France. I mean, it was one of the most amazing things I've ever done. I'm very grateful to you for that, and also being such, you know, such a someone to emulate.
Oh, well,
thank you. So thank you.
You definitely didn't have to say that, but thank you. Thanks for, you know, the great work you've been doing, and this film is a fantastic film, and of course you've got 2 award ceremonies to attend virtually, I guess, and I wish you all the best of luck with that. And once again, I'm going to thank Ari Rental and Movie Tech, because I didn't do it at the beginning, but you know, it's done now, and I hope you have a really successful couple of months now, where you find the reward for all that hard work you've been doing.
Well, thank you very much, Barry, and thanks for for doing this with.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thanks to everybody who's been here watching, listening. Thanks to you guys.
Well, and thanks to the BSC for.
We shake your hand, don't we? Okay. Thanks. And thank you, BSC and Audra, particularly. Who's
absolutely.
Our backbone.
So well organized.
Thank you, everyone.
Great.